Last time we were talking about alchemy, and we talked about all the ways that someone who has bitachon is better than an alchemist who can turn different types of metals into gold. Now we're going to talk about money. Now, we're in the middle of listing the benefits of bitachon, of living with trust in Hashem. So, having bitachon in Hashem, we're listing all the ways that will help a person to serve Hashem better. If he's a wealthy person, somebody who has trust in Hashem and he's very wealthy, he's going to give away his money freely. That's what he's going to want to do with his money. He doesn't want to give it away. He doesn't need to hoard it. Rather, what he wants to do is make sure that he fulfills all of his obligations about his money. The Torah mandates that we give tzedakah. To give charity to people, we have to help people that are less fortunate. Now, if you're aware, there's a lot of people that need help. A lot of people that are having trouble just making ends meet. And there's a lot of yeshivas that need support, so people can learn Torah. A lot of shuls that need support. They have to sell raffle tickets to make money. There's a lot of people that need help. So someone who has bitachon, he's not going to have to save his money. Oh, I need it for a rainy day. We're on page 29. Wow, thank you for getting these. Thank you, Rabbi Braun. Page 29. Now, that's if he's wealthy. So if he's wealthy, what's the person who has bitachon, his attitude towards money? He's not going to hoard it all. He's not going to be afraid to fulfill his obligations of tzedakah because he knows Hashem is going to take care of him. But if someone's not wealthy, if someone's poor, how's he going to view it? He's going to view, wow, Hashem did him a great favor. Why? Why is it in contradistinction to what Tevye said, that it's no shame to be poor, but it's no great honor either. Here, the Baal Chovos Havavos is saying the opposite from Tevye. If you don't know Fiddler on the Roof, shame on you. The Chovos Havavos is saying here, on the contrary, it's a good thing to be poor. Why? Because someone who's poor, he's exempt from all the requirements of what Hashem and other people need him to do with the money. Meaning he's not required to give the tzedakah that he has to give. He's not required to support the yeshivas. He's not required to build another building for BMG. Also, he's exempt from having to worry about his money, having to constantly guard it to make sure that it is safeguarded. Now, this is usually the opposite of how we view money. Here he's saying that money, when a person has money, when a person's wealthy, it's a responsibility. Hashem is testing him to see, is he going to use his money for the right purpose or not? So someone who's poor doesn't have that test. He's exempt from that, so that's a relief. He cites a story here on the bottom from Ramat Solomon. He once brought a wealthy man to see the stipler in Eretz Yisrael. He was going to give money to certain yeshivas. And after the wealthy man left, the stipler turned to Ramat Solomon and he said, wow, I'm so happy that I don't have money. He said, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Meaning, he said he wouldn't be able to sleep at night because he doesn't know, maybe is he giving enough tzedakah? Is he giving to the right places? It's a very scary thing. Right? Hashem gave you this gift to make sure you're going to use it for the right things. And the stipler said, I would be so anxious that I wasn't fulfilling all of my obligations with the tzedakah that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. That's how the Gadol, that's how the big rabbis viewed being wealthy. Rav Moshe Feinstein used to comment that he was a little upset. That, there's 9 volumes of all the questions that people asked him that he printed. People asked him many more questions than that, but those are just the questions that he printed. Thousands and thousands of questions. And Moshe Feinstein said he was a little upset that more people didn't ask him of how they should spend their tzedakah funds, where they should give tzedakah to. And he said, just like there's halachas about your esrog and your tefillin, right? The tefillin has to be black, it has to be in a square, it has to have the right parshas, and if this little thing is off, then it's not kosher. If your esrog has a little nick, it's not kosher. The same thing with tzedakah. You have to, how much does a person have to give based on his life circumstances? Where should he give to first? Where should he give to second? How much money should he leave over for himself and from his family? How much should he save? He says these questions are the same as the questions that you ask for halachas. So having money is a burden. So the person who has money, he should view it as Hashem gave him a gift, that it's a responsibility. He's going to say it's a pikadon. It's something that he's just watching. It's not really his. It's something that he's watching, and Hashem's going to see if he's going to use it properly. And the person who's poor should be very happy because he doesn't have all these requirements of how to use his money, and he can relax. Like it says, one of the Hasidim. Hasidim here means pious people. It doesn't mean people that necessarily wore shtreimels and went to tishes, although many of those people are also pious. Shahaya Aimer used to say, Hamakam Yatzadenu Pizor Nefesh. One of the pious people used to say, Hashem, please save me from Pizor Nefesh, from scattering of the soul. Amrullah, they said to him, Mahu Pizor Nefesh? What is Pizor Nefesh? Amar, he said, Shieli Maman Barosh Kol Nar Barosh Kol Kriya, that he's lucky that he doesn't have investments at the head of every river, at the head of every city. Right? People who are wealthy and they have different businesses and different investments, they always are checking their investments and checking the markets, and there's a lot of anxiety that goes into that. It's what the sages say. Mar b'nechasim mar b'daiga. As the sages say, mo money, mo problems. V'amru, and they say, Ezehu ashir, who is wealthy, hasamech b'chalko, somebody who is content in his portion. So before that, I don't know, anyone ever seen wealthy people in Lakewood? You ever see what they go through? They're constantly being with people with legitimate issues. I know a few wealthy people in Lakewood, and people have legitimate issues, like very poor, or they're collecting for the yeshivas, like very important things, but people in Lakewood give, they're very generous, and the wealthy people, they're constantly being bombarded with people. There's they don't have, a lot of them, unless they figure out a system of how to do it, and some do have a system, they're constantly bombarded and they can't relax. I once had a meeting with a wealthy person for a project I was working on, and I got to his house early to meet him. As he's getting out of his car, he was swarmed by people, legitimate people. They couldn't, they needed tzedakah, and he was very nice to them, and he gave them all. But that was just one night. I saw him. He goes through that all the time, this fellow. And there's tons of people like that. I mean, it's because of their generosity, and people really need. So if you're not wealthy, that's also a good thing. And he says here, who's wealthy? Someone who is happy with his portion. I just saw a shot from Jonas and Eibishitz. It was brought down in one of the svarim that have a commentary to Chovos Havavos. He said someone who's happy with what he has. He says some people say, I don't study Torah because Menashe heard this already. I said this Thursday night. Some people say, I don't study so much Torah because I'm not so smart, I'm not so intellectual, so that's why I don't study Torah. And they use it as an excuse. He says, no, everyone has to be samech b'chalko. They have to be very happy with the talents that they have and with the intellect that they have, because Torah could be studied everyone has to study Torah depending on their intellect. If you're super duper smart, then you can learn things in depth. So you can learn Reb Chaim's all day, you can learn Yerushalmis, you can do very intellectually rigorous activities. Where if you're not so smart, that doesn't mean you can't learn. You could also study Chumash. You can learn the Gemara, the simple explanation of the Gemara. There's something for everybody in the Torah. Rav Shach said that in Europe they had shuls where they would have the elite on one table, they were learning their thing, and all the way down you had every table had different people according to their level of learning. So you got to the lowest table, just people reading the Siddur, learning the letters of the Siddur. But they're all in the same base measures because we're all Jews, we all have different talents, and we could all do on our level. And Hashem gave each of us the talents we need to accomplish what we need. We shouldn't say, oh yeah, if I was born in Bnei Brak and as smart as that guy, then I would be a Torah scholar. No, that's not how we should view it. No, Hashem put us in Manalapan, and He gave us the talents that we have, and He gave us the challenges that we have, and the privileges that we have to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Each one of us has exactly what we need to accomplish. That's what Rav Yonas says, is who is wealthy? Someone who is happy with his portion. Let's finish this paragraph. Babotech Mashem. Someone who has trust.
Is that also in Pirkei Avos?
Yes, yeah, that's what he's quoting. Exactly. He's quoting from Pirkei Avos. Parak Beis, Mishnah Zayin. Babotech Bashem. Someone who has trust in Hashem. Yasik Toelos Hamaman Ritzoni Leimir Parnasosa. Someone who has trust in Hashem, he's going to get his parnasa. He'll be provided for. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be wealthy, right? Someone who you have two options. You could say, right, I'm going to spend my life worrying about money, and that's the only focus of my life. And maybe you'll get wealthy, maybe you won't. Or you could say, no, I'm going to have bitachon. I'm going to put in the effort, a normal amount of effort, to make my livelihood. And he said, if a person does that, you're going to get what you need. You don't have to worry about it. Now, you're going to be wealthy, you're going to live in a mansion, are you going to have a $300 million yacht like Mark Zuckerberg? No. But you're going to have what you need. And that's fine for a Jew, because a Jew's goal in life isn't to have a $300 million yacht by making a service that rots people's brains and destroys lives. No, that's not the purpose of a Jew. The purpose of a Jew is to focus on Hashem and be an Eved Hashem, and the money, that's a side point, and if a person puts in the proper amount of effort, then he is going to get what he needs. And a person who does this is going to be great for him, because he's not going to have all these worries about worrying about his investments. Like the wise one said, King Solomon, Mesuka shnas ha'eved ima'at v'imharbe yochel v'asava le'asher einenu maniach lo lishon. Sweet is the sleep of the laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the rich man's satiety does not let him sleep. Okay, stop here.